Well, I liked the idea from the beginning that it was kind of counterintuitive, if you like. I mean, received wisdom, that British manufacturing is dead and so on and so on. The thing that I think interested all of us at the beginning was the notion that it wasn't a corporate job. You went, didn't have to get a shiny picture of the CEO, and you didn't have to kind of all the equipment have to be cleaned up and polished, and but it was hopefully about how it really is, as opposed to some corporate fiction about how it's supposed to be. Well, I like band-up tyres because it corresponds to all those sort of cliches almost of sort of industrial Britain from the 70s or 50s even. Some of that, and some of the machinery does date back to that. It's the only retreading company in Britain apparently now for truck tyres. It has that old-fashioned kind of industrial feel about it, and smell and stuff all over the place and dirty conditions. When you're ripping rubber off tyres, it's not the cleanest thing in the world. So, I mean, that was perhaps the most archetypal kind of place I went into. I had this notion that I would try to make these group portraits around perhaps subgroups of workers or something like that, and that's, or managers or whatever it happened to be. So it wouldn't just be process, it would, and small groups because you can handle them, and they then have an individuality about the people. They're not part of a crowd. I mean, I find that with the factory floor, people are always joshing and joking and making stupid remarks and so on. It's not unusual in Britain, and probably everywhere else too. I think the people have been softened up a bit, to expect me to be perhaps not doing what they might have anticipated. I've been taking pictures, but maybe not what they thought of what they thought. And so in that respect, it was kind of, didn't really have to kind of work on people to kind of do something a bit different. They seem okay, nice. Wants us to stand on our head, we'll stand on our head. You go into these places expecting to have to battle your way through, and that generally that wasn't the case. The level of cooperation and the willingness to kind of help out was pretty good all the way around. I had to sort of clear everything. They were very good about it, but I had to clear everything with them, because it was more about the technology that they were using. They didn't want somebody to think, see their rivals kind of coming up with systems that they were kind of trying to keep secret. So it's kind of interesting that they let me in the first place, actually. But it was done on trust, I said, okay, I'll show you everything, and if there's I said, as long as you are clear that it's about your industrial secrets, not that you don't like the look on somebody's face or something like that. And in fact, everything I showed them, they said was fine. I was kind of, intrigued by the sausages. I mean, I like a good sausage myself. And I mean, they were trying the idea of getting a straight sausage. They're working on the idea of having a straight sausage. Because it fits better into a kind of baguette, really. It doesn't bother. But while maintaining its integrity as a sausage. I had to intervene in some places, to get some things to happen that, I'm not making it up, as it were, but just trying to stimulate something that wasn't going to happen in the time frame that I was there. And I thought with some of the portraits that I was working on, just kind of give them a little sort of nudge, to a little bit of a sort of surreal edge, just to enjoy myself, really. And they were kind of a bit surprised at what they were asked to do, but people are pretty good. They go along with it, and might not understand what you're doing, but and then some of them have seen the results. I think seem quite pleased with it. I mean, I was using lighting sometimes, not hugely complicated lighting. I don't like to do that. I wanted to work with the lighting that was there and maybe just kind of help it out a little bit every now and again. It's a fine line between where it becomes just blurred and a mess and there's a sort of sense of motion. Well, I think people are intrinsically more interesting than machines. Yeah. I mean, there are a few little sort of detail things that I've done which I do like a lot. I mean, people are what interests me. They are kind of strange, and British people are particularly strange, I think. So I do see it as a distinct little body, I mean, it's something. One of the things I do all my working life is photograph England, and that's a nice little tranche of work to fit into that broader framework. And hopefully with mine, people will think, oh, didn't expect that. So, and then they'll say, but of course it's a lot better than the rest.